Hello and welcome to the third video in a four-part series of tips and tricks for Housemarque's Alienation. Lay back, relax your thumbs, and take a deep breath. It's time for just the tips. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Just the Tips. I am indeed Misa Perfect with Second Nature Gaming. Today we are taking an in-depth look at the different weapons you are able to use in Alienation, as well as looking at the pros and cons of each choice. Let's get started. Before we do take our deep dive into each weapon, here are a few general weapons tips. Number 1, Weapons Pack DLC. As I've previously mentioned in the first tips and tricks video for Alienation, I highly recommend you pick up the Weapons Pack DLC and the Weapon Hack. This will increase the amount of enjoyment you get from the game by an astronomical amount. Not only being limited to one type of weapon for an entire playthrough is amazing. Number 2, Laser Sightings. The laser that is being emitted from your character denotes the range with which your attacks will hit. Certain weapons will increase or decrease the length of your sighting. Take the time to learn which weapons have the best sightings for you. Number 3, core slots. Each weapon will have at least a few slots that you can place cores in. You're trying to find the correct balance for you concerning the rate of fire, damage, and clip size. A colored slot indicates a bonus for matching to that colored core. Red equals a damage increase, blue, rate of fire increase, yellow, a clip size increase, and a prismatic is crit chance. Prismatic cores will work in any colored slot and get you the bonus for them. Number 4, re-rolling your statistics. Take the time to re-roll your stats and upgrade weapons, especially when you're leveling. Materials to re-roll statistics come from breaking down unused weapons. You are able to re-roll damage, clip size, rate of fire, crit damage, and core synergies. Re-rolling cores does not recalculate the core slots, only the colored possibilities on your weapon. This can make a good weapon amazing with very lucky rolls. Number 5, gear power. Gear power bonuses on weapons indicate how strong that weapon is. Add up all the gear scores from each weapon and you have the character's gear power. You can see that here. The higher the gear power, the more effective your skills will be. An item's gear score is determined by the item level, the core slots, the synergies, and the cores that you do have in the weapon. Number 6, weapons breakdown. With all the DLC purchased, you have access to 3 primary weapons, 4 secondary weapons, 4 heavy weapons, and 5 special equipment. Further, as you play through the game, occasionally when you open the final mission reward, a new armor will drop. These armors have different color schemes as well as different skill traits. Equipping other armors allows for a little extra customization, but nothing big. The energy gun is your quickest firing primary weapon. It gives you a high burst damage and features large clips. On the cons, it has a very short range and it is a single target weapon. There is no splash damage. The SMG has a long range to it. There is some splash damage to nearby enemies. Unfortunately, for the cons, you have a very slow speed to build up to your max fire, and by that time your clip is pretty much dry. Unfortunately as well, the clip is quite small. The Xeno Rifle. Like the SMG, the Xeno Rifle does have a long range to it. It is quite powerful and it has a good sized clip to start. On the con side, this is a single target weapon. You will not get any splash damage and it fires very slowly. For our secondary weapons, we have the Devastator. In my opinion, the Devastator is the I win button of this game. It has a long range, a piercing beam, and it does more damage the longer you hold down the trigger. For cons, I have nothing. It is just a gorgeous weapon. Plasma shotgun. Now, if for whatever reason you do not have the DLC, the shotgun, in my opinion, is the next best secondary weapon. It does have a short range, but it is quite powerful. It has an area of effect, and it pushes back on hit. For cons, we have a small starting clip and a very slow rate of fire. The power shot. The power shot has a very long range to it. It is theoretically quite powerful, and it does pierce. On the con side, we have a very small clip, a small ammo reserve, and a very slow rate of fire. The revolver has a long range to it. It is quite powerful, and it does pierce when it fires. On the con side, it does have a small clip. It almost does fire like it's single target because you very rarely get enemies that are in one straight line. Further, for the pierce to happen, you actually have to kill the enemy in front of you or it will not travel through. Moving on to heavy weapons, we have the Collapser. The Collapser is DLC. It is long range, it does pierce, and its shots rebound. You have a charge up effect that does more powerful attacks, and it has a very large clip and a large ammo reserve. On the downside, maybe it fires a little slow, but that's a stretch. The launcher has a long range to it. It is quite powerful, and it has a large area of effect to it. On the downside, it blocks sight when you fire from the ash cloud. It does have a small clip size and a small ammo reserve. And lastly, we have the minigun. The minigun has a very long range to it, and it does have a quick rate of fire. On the con size, it is a small clip and there is no area of effect to it. Moving on to equipment, we have the Vortex Grenade. The Vortex Grenade incapacitates all small to mid-sized enemies. It knocks enemies down after it's complete. It's great to use in a choke point or on a horde. On the con side, its animation is quite large and it blocks your sight. The Vortex Grenade is DLC. The Landmine. It is great to use on a retreat or at a choke point, and it pulses 3 times. On the downside, it detonates quickly after it's activated and can damage the player massively. Boomerang. The boomerang is exactly what it sounds like. You throw it and it comes back to you. Cluster Grenade. The Cluster Grenade covers a large area with overlapping grenades. It can cause massive damage. For cons, you can find yourself damaged quite easily. 1 button press to throw, a second to disperse, and then a short window before detonation. And the Remote Grenade. The Remote Grenade is a 1 button throw to press, and a second to detonate. It does a large amount of damage. On the con size, it does tend to have a small radius. And let's have a number 7, effects on weapons. Each weapon can have a bonus ability on it. Bonus abilities can be knockdown, lightning, grenade, and boomerang. These abilities are identified on each weapon as a specific triggering. You can trigger them on a melee attack, on a damage taken, or on a shot. To receive the bonus, you must fill the core slots to reach the skill and have that weapon equipped. For example, if you have boomerang on melee for your primary weapon, you will not activate the boomerang effect if you have your secondary weapon equipped. Equipment slots can have 2 bonuses, either a speed boost or a quick recharge. Speed boost gives you a quick boost to your movement speed after using the equipment. Quick recharge allows your equipment to recharge faster so you can use it more often. The lightning effect. As you can see here, this weapon has lightning on shot. Try to slow down the fire rate, and you can see how this little chain lightning jumps from target to target. Boomerang on shot is the most coveted effect you can hope for. Oh, this weapon is lovely. It shoots a boomerang every couple rounds at the enemy, so if you can get this on a Devastator, you are laughing. And grenade. Whenever you shoot or you get hit, whatever the effect says, you will launch a grenade. I love having this on shot, especially on a quick firing shotgun. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Misa Perfect with Second Nature Gaming. This has been video 3 for Housemarque's Alienation. Join us for the next episode of Just the Tips, where we break down the different enemies that you will encounter in Alienation. We will see you next time.